Well, greetings everyone and welcome back to Kadic Reviews, and more specifically to BoJack Horseman. We've done a review of BoJack Horseman seasons every year on this show. It, quite frankly, is, without question, the best show on Netflix. Period. But that's all subjective. But one is the undisputed king of is darkness. It is the single darkest television program that I, for one, have ever witnessed. And coming off the heels of season 4, how could a show that's already dealing with dementia, mental illness, addiction, the Hollywood proverb, depression, self-worth, self-fulfillment, happiness, among other big issues, get even darker in season 5? Well, I'll tell you how. In every possible way possible. Normally, I don't do spoilers with these. I try not to do that outside of a basic description. But for this review, however, it just can't be done. So, if you have not watched BoJack Horseman Season 5, go watch it. Go watch it. Go watch the entire series. Go see it all. And come out of the darkness on the other side and meet me back. If you need a score, this thing's a 10. This season's a 10. The entire series at this point is a 10. And I will make this statement. BoJack Horseman is the greatest animated dark comedy in the history of television. Rachel bob-waksberg and the staff have created an all-timer. Period. The show that I await for every season. And this season is no exception. It picks up after the events of season 4, in which BoJack has a new television show by the name of Filbert. Filbert, oddly enough, the name of the child that Princess Carolyn, his agent, wanted to have, but struggles because of multiple miscarriages. But she wants to adopt. Goes on a journey back to her home, meeting a young teenage woman named Sadie, who is debating on giving the child to her. Ups and downs there. We also, in the process of this, learn of Princess Carolyn's background story, about her parents, about how she was raised in a North Carolina town, was smart and academically sharp, but she had a boyfriend in a rich phone machine company. After the first of several miscarriages went through, she got accepted in UCLA and moved to Los Angeles, and ended up at one of BoJack Horseman's Halloween parties thrown together by Mr. Peanut Butter, who is now divorced from Diane. But don't fret for Mr. Peanut Butter exactly, because he's got a new friend in the name of Pickles, a pug, with just about as light and fluffy energy as the other ones are. But as we find out through the Halloween party episode, it all ends the same way. Dramatically, bigly, and wrongly. But we also discover in the process that all these characters have been interconnected. Even Todd. Todd, who now runs a high job at whattimeisitnow.com. Yeah, that's a big funny name. This network, or the website, kind of Netflixian, that is running Bojack's new Filbert show. He's dealing with his asexuality and struggling with it. His childhood friend Emily is trying to help him out, but to no avail. And his relationship with Olivia is booming. That is until it's not. Comical stuff ensues. Let's just say it's one of the funniest episodes in a rather dark, depressing season. On top of all of this, the show is not going so well creatively. The creator, or writer, of the show named Flip, played by the lead actor of Mr. Robot of all shows, is an eccentric, creative, but it's all talk, no action. He can't think of anything. So, he gets a clever idea to hire Diane on staff, but with the pretense that she not do anything. In fact, an entire episode this season is a rather clever, well written, and very sharp takedown on the Me Too movement and feminism as a whole, as Bojack stupidly becomes a feminist symbol out of mistakes. But as always, Bojack's life can't be this easy, can it? A show that might end up successful, him not screwing it up, and him with a new girlfriend, his co-star, Gina, who he's getting along well with. Everything seems to be turning around for our titular star. That is until the wheels fall off. Diane can't handle being single. She struggles with self-identity, goes on a trip to Vietnam to no avail. But it's through working on the show when she finally gets a hold of the typewriter that she vents her frustrations out through the show using Bojack's own life to fill the pages of Filbert as a show as it wraps its first season. Because she finds out about what happened at the end of season 2 in New Mexico. And because Bojack didn't want to come clean, Diane uses the information against him, thus breaking up their friendship and their relationship, and spiraling Bojack into even more guilt and avoidance. But due to an on-set mishap in which he falls off of a building, he gets injured. During that injury, he gets subscribed this show's version of opioids. He becomes addicted. Way addicted. In fact, if you're going to watch this season, point this out. Between every line of dialogue that Bojack speaks, watch an animation post the episode of his injury. You'll see him go into his jacket and pull out prescription pills. He does this throughout the entire rest of the season, and even has hidden pill stashes hidden all over his condo. And of course, the drugs he was paying, but not real. It's only something more that he can abuse. And unlike all the other seasons, all the troubles, all the mistakes, all the things, all the problems, all the lies, all the deceits, not only for Bojack, but for every character in the series, they all hit the fan collectively at the same time. Mr. Peanut Butter ends up cheating on Pickles with Diane. Diane, her conscience finally lights up that she's been an enabler of Bojack's bad behavior, of everybody's bad behavior, and she's sick of it. She wants to understand the thrill of independence, of being her own woman, and finally meeting somebody that isn't a train wreck. Mr. Peanut Butter has to realize that he has a thing for younger women, that he himself, although he still puts on the most comical front, isn't happy either. With the show ultimately cancelled at the end of the season due to another Todd mistake in the form of a robot by the name of Harry Fondle. Keep in mind, this show is for adults. Everything goes wrong. The show is over. The secrets are out. And after his addiction nearly ends up in Bojack choking his now ex-girlfriend Gina to death, he finally comes to an epiphany, to a crossroads. The last scene of the season is a desperate Bojack once again, one more time, asking a reluctant Diane. The last scene we see him is him checking himself in to rehab. God knows where the series will go from here, but the show's themes about celebrity and the mockery and the damage it causes to everybody in the Hollywood lights, to depression and mental illness, to grief and the inability or ability to deal with it, to depression, to adultery, to feminism, to every possible thing, to living up to your mistakes, to owning them, to even being an enabler to other people's mistakes, to drug addiction. All of it is here. All of it is dark. All of it is brooding. And all of it is sad. Even though the last scene that I described to you is a scene full of some hope. It's such a dim light at this point in the series that you can only imagine Bojack at this point checking himself out early, returning to his vices, and never truly recover. Or, for the first time, is there truly hope? Or will he, as a song says in the season, just keep dancing until the curtains fall? And could that fall be short? This season's back half is one of the most powerful back halves of television that I have ever watched in any degree. But there is one episode I didn't mention, and the reason why I didn't is it deserves a special mention all to itself. The episode known as Free Churro. Free Churro is an episode of a style, of a way, that I have never seen in animation before. It is a tour de force of voice acting. It is a tour de force of storytelling talent, comedic timing, and reflection. You see, at the end of last season, we left Bojack's mother suffering from the final stages of dementia to her death, it seemed. And sure enough, that's what happens. At the eulogy for her funeral, Bojack and Will Arnett stage a 23-minute, one man, one cut eulogy of a character that has been damaged herself and spread her damage throughout the generations. Damaged her husband, damaged her son, damaged herself. And Bojack, through this one-man eulogy, at the wrong funeral, by the way, lets all of his grievances out, ask all the questions, but gets no answers, and struggles to grieve and ultimately, appropriately, chooses not to. But in these 23 minutes, you see the power of well-written character, well-written story, well-written purpose. This singular episode, this 23-minute moment, I'm a connoisseur of animation, both for the young and sometimes for the adult. As far as the adult goes, this episode is the apex. It's not only a dissection on a character, it is a dissection on a family, a motif, a drive, a motivation, and how the motivations of our past relatives and the bad choices that they make influences the future endlessly. And when we sometimes in life don't get the answers to all the burning questions, how we're left with a hole that we try to fill but we fail. That's exactly what that episode is. It is the best episode in a season that is filled with so much darkness and hopelessness and depravity. And all these characters, some of which we have loved, going down the darkest roads that they have come out. There are no heroes in BoJack Horseman. There is no real friendship. There is no rainbow to wait for. No moral. Unlike all the other content we do on this channel, there's none of that here. And yet, every time I do a review of this show, it opens my eyes on what animation could truly be about. Power of the medium. And when given in the hands of great animators, great writers, and even greater voice actors, you create something that is greater than every show like it that has preceded it. This is in no way the final season of BoJack Horseman, but through this season they might have achieved its final form, its apex, its magnum opus. For those that have been long-term viewers of this series to this point, you get some answers, you get some revelations, and you get some big shocks. Life-changing shocks. If you haven't watched this show before, I detest you. Watch it now. It's not only the best thing on Netflix, it's the best thing on TV. It's the best thing ever written. It's the best comedy ever devised. It's simply the best. And this season proves it, without a shadow of a doubt. In a genre of animation that is filled with so much darkness, so much crap, underpinning bad performances, bad execution, or worse, or shows that have not aged well, BoJack Horseman is the shining light. It is the example. It is the bar set high. It is what adult animation should strive for. It should be the standard, but it won't. But if you're any kind of intelligent, if you value it like I do, tell me down in the comments section. And let's talk spoilers. Let's open the door. BoJack Horseman Season 5 gets a 10 out of 10. And if I could, I'd give it an 11. It is my favorite comedy show on the planet, having its best season yet. Because even in a season full of darkness, it shows the light of a job well done. Find peace in your own nirvana. I'll see you next time.